Hi folks, Florida Man here. At last, we come to the end of our basics of how to succeed as Italy. This is the optimistic version of the future. Basics of Italy. Dolce. In the endgame, you're hopefully working towards your solo. Thus, this final video is devoted to planning how you will crown yourself the prince of all Europe. As a successful Italy, approaching the desired endgame of solo. You've defeated France and/or Turkey, and if you haven't defeated both, you have at least contained the other. If you're facing a strong France and/or Turkey in the endgame, you're probably not going to solo as Italy. Hopefully you've also absorbed at least half of the Austrian and Balkan centers, and you're reasonably well poised to absorb the remainder. Looking over dozens of different play diplomacy games where Italy soloed, including lots of games where I was not the Italian player or even a participant, we find some fairly consistent patterns. In 100% of Italian solos, I saw Italy had its home centers plus Tunis. No surprise there. In 94%, Italy had Greece. In 84%, Italy had Marseille. In 80%, Italy had at least one Iberian center. In 84%, Italy had Trieste. In 96%, Italy had at least one Turkish center. In 80%, Italy had Serbia. In 88%, Italy had Bulgaria. In 70%, Italy had Vienna. In 76%, Italy had Budapest. In 74%, Italy had Romania. In 72%, Italy had all of the Turkish home centers. In about 50%, Italy had Munich. In 30%, Italy had at least one English center. In 70%, Italy had at least one Russian center. In 40%, Italy had Brest. In 40%, Italy had Paris. In 36%, Italy had Warsaw. In 66%, Italy had Sevastopol. In 22%, Italy had Berlin. In 60%, at least one German center. These results suggest some findings to me. Italy will pretty much always defeat Turkey if Italy wins, and Italy will generally absorb most or all of Turkey. In fact, in the solo scenario, Italy is actually more likely to have all of the Turkish home centers than to have Vienna, which suggests the ability to project power east through Turkey is an important factor in most Italian victories. The general path seems to be through Turkey into Romania, Budapest, and parts of Russia. It's really easy to see how you get from controlling all of Turkey to controlling Sevastopol. The numbers show that Italy doesn't really need to kill France nearly as badly as Italy needs to kill Turkey. Italy does want to get Marseille very badly, and Italy also needs Iberia. Those centers are part of the southern half of the map, so they are much easier to get for Italy than some other centers that are on the east side of the map, like Warsaw. However, while getting the southern French centers and all of the Turkish centers is a very reasonable expectation for an Italy who's trying to solo, getting any further in the northwest is much more of a long shot. Italy is pretty unlikely to get any English centers. It's almost as unlikely as getting into Scandinavia as Italy. Italy is more likely to get the French home centers of Brest and Paris, but the odds of that aren't very different from the odds of getting Warsaw. That brings me to a big point. Although Italy is frequently considered a naval power, Italy is less likely to end the game in control of Brest than Munich. Italy is also more likely to have Sevastopol than Brest, and more likely to get Warsaw than any English center. What all of that means is that at a certain point, Italy will have to go heavy on armies if Italy is going to solo. It's not possible to take Vienna with fleets, but in 70% of games where Italy solos, Italy has Vienna. The logical path seems to be that we take out Turkey and France. The order is up to your situation, but I favor attacking Turkey first unless you have allies against France, or you find France is ready to make trouble for you early on. And after you take France out, you create a strong position for yourself in Iberia and Marseille, spaces which can support each other in place. You make Austria think you'll go further west, but in reality you make a good treaty with England, and you don't break it unless England is already weakening or lowering their guards so much that it begs for a dagger in the back. From there, the ideal is that Austria is committed north or east and lowers their guard, and you sprout a bunch of armies and launch an amphibious assault, claiming Greece, Bulgaria, and Trieste, and then using those as a launching pad to take Serbia, Romania, Vienna, Budapest, and Sevastopol. Hopefully you'll have an ally for these attacks. The most likely partners are Germany or Russia, although they might naturally be wary at this point of an Italy who is as large as you probably are. You may be fortunate in that Austria will likely be attacking one or both of them if Turkey is gone, so you may not need to persuade them to fight alongside you. If Austria does start a fight with them, or their greed overwhelms their fear, you get an ally, They get an Austrian dot or two for a year, until Austria's gone, and then you turn on them and put Italian military boots further into the continent than they've been since Julius Caesar. For your final dots, you either stab England for Brest and or Paris, or you go for Warsaw, Moscow, and or Munich. The great thing about a partnership with Germany in particular is that it's pretty unusual for Italy to take more than Munich from Germany, in terms of German home centers, in order to get the win. To me, this suggests that a surprise one-dot stab might actually be enough to take the game from a draw to a solo for you, so the final betrayal is hopefully, theoretically, a little less complicated than it might otherwise be. Soloing is difficult as any power, because once you begin approaching it, your strength is visible and quantifiable for anyone who can see the map. Italy is no different from the other countries in this respect. If you need a partner to distract Germany so you can make your final stab, it would probably be England, since they should be the only one likely left unscathed after your rampage. That is the most probable general endgame path, so that you get to your happy ending. There are variations of it. England might let their guard down and let you advance through the mid-Atlantic Ocean, and toward their island, in which case it may make sense for Italy to be more naval than I've just been describing. In that case, there's a non-negligible chance you might go so far as penetrating into Scandinavia. Theoretically, you might also fight your way all the way up through Sevastopol and Moscow and into St. Petersburg. That's about as likely as you fighting your way through Munich into Berlin and Kiel, and it's not entirely out of the question either. But the average solo victory as Italy follows the path outlined in this and previous videos. Break the power of Turkey and or France, then Austria, and then figure out where your last few centers come from. You can mix the order of that up a bit, because every game is different, but I would say that it typically introduces an element of risk to go after Austria first, or to attack Munich in the first few years, or to leave fighting France until after you've attacked Russia or something. And that's the basics of Italy. Folks, stay tuned for the basics of France. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you too can participate in helping me make and promote great diplomacy content, either by joining my supporters on Patreon or by writing subtitles for the videos in other languages, in addition to liking, subscribing, and commenting, all of which helps this channel grow. Follow the links in the video description or comment below for more. And I would like to briefly thank the people who are already helping me out via the methods I've mentioned, whose names and screen names are on the screen now. Let's keep going and make this the biggest diplomacy community out there. Let's try and hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Until next time, Florida Man out.